let's talk about our emergency bag. So earlier today I came home and to my surprise there was blood on Bennett's foot. It's one of those times where I was very grateful that I had emergency supplies on hand. I figured it was a good chance to go over what's in our emergency bag / our go bag. You never really know when you're going to need it, so it's definitely nice to have on hand in the moment. Starting off with our big bag. I went a little overboard, but we'll just go over everything I have in here. Jeez, I don't even know where to start. So this is what I used today when I saw that his toenail had split. Thankfully, it already stopped bleeding. But just to clean the wound, this is an antimicrobial wound care spray. It's just, hypochlorous acid. But if it had not stopped bleeding yet, I would have used this. So thankfully I've never had to use it, but what this is it's a blood stopper, a styptic gel. In theory, it's supposed to help slow down bleeding and, make it manageable. Along the same lines, I have a pet first aid kit. These are very easy to find, like on Amazon, but basically it should have everything you need. I also take one of these with me whenever I go on an outing with Bennett. I just keep it in his stroller just in case of emergencies, And then moving on to food. I have food that he's more likely to eat in one compartment. All of this is basically just wet food. Along the same lines, I have baby food, which he loves, and I have HydroCare. So what this is it supports hydration, and when cats are stressed, they won't really want to eat or drink very much. Just something to entice him to eat and something to support his hydration. It really came down to it, I have this syringe to try to give him some of the HydroCare or water, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. And speaking of enticers, I do keep kitten food on hand. To my knowledge, this is very high in fat. It's very oily, very appealing to him. It's very calorie dense. I believe each packet has 25 calories. Normal size can of Tiki Cat After Dark has like 50 calories. This already has 25. So if they're not eating or whatsoever, this would be very helpful. Even when it's, not an emergency per se, whenever Bennett's being extra picky someday and he's not getting enough calories, I pull this out. He does love it. Compartment is just full of treats that I know he loves. He'll go crazy for these, as well as a food and water bowl that just pops in and out. Speaking of water, I do have a water bottle in here next to his leash and harness. Don't want them running away from us. And I do have pee pads, as well as like a travel litter bag. I do need to bring some litter, I think, but it is kind of heavy, so yeah, I need to think about that. In that compartment, I also have a pill dispenser. We do have gabapentin because Bennett gets a little anxious in the car. I plan on putting some gabapentin in this bag just in case we have to leave real quick for whatever emergency. I can use this to administer to him if, I don't have any other way of doing it. Churros. But yeah, that's basically the gist of our emergency bag. It's really handy to have. I just leave it by the door in the shoe closet, but in situations like today, I am grateful that I had medical supplies on hand. I will be spraying this on his toe for the next couple days. The vet told me to spray it maybe once or twice. In the meantime, I'll keep this out of the bag, but when we're done, I'll just put it back in here, put it back in the shoe closet. That's, basically everything we have in this bag. Oh, it is quite heavy, I have to admit. I don't have to go as crazy as I do. I just have a lot of wet food in here, I think, so it weighs it down. And then next to it in the shoe closet is this. So this is our old carrier. What I like about this is that it's got, buckles at the top so they can't get out. It's a backpack. It's just easier for me to carry him around if we're running around. And the best part is it opens up. So this will expand if you need it to, and it just, makes the carrier much bigger for them. If you stop by somewhere, it even opens up. There are leashes inside so they can't escape, and the buckles on the thing just make sure that they can't push this open with their heads. I do leave it out sometimes for him so he doesn't, react too negatively or think bad things happen every time it comes out. But yeah, Bennett is a pretty large cat and he can stretch out comfortably in this. So backpack is a good idea. I'm assuming if you're running out for whatever reason, say there's like a natural disaster or whatever, I assume you're going to be holding other things in your hands. So having a backpack, I think, definitely comes in handy, especially if you have more than one animal. Carry them in one hand, carry this one on their back. So I just think, you know, it's very helpful. For storage purposes, you can just close it back. Even if it's not for emergencies, I can see how it might be appealing for people who like to travel with their cats, take them to cafes or whatever. Just gives the cat more room. And here I also have an extra harness. As you can see, it can clip onto the leash. So to summarize, these two are just what I keep in emergencies. What I consider most important for day-to-day is probably the medical equipment. You never know what might happen, and it's just better to be prepared, in my opinion. I was definitely grateful that I had it today when I saw that his toe was bleeding. What we do for our pets, right? I have a list in our Amazon storefront dedicated to this. I will update it soon, but it should have most of the things I consider important already. Everything should be easy to find if you were to search up everything yourself, but I will have that linked for you guys to make things a little more convenient. Anyways, I hope this helps someone out there, or I should say, I hope it will never have to be used, but if the time comes, at least, you know, we'll be prepared. Bye.
And say bye.